You are listening to Conversations with Wisdom, a Random Genius Media original.
Conversation, doctor. I've met you under very dramatic circumstances. First, my wife had to be operated for kidney stones last year, and it happened towards the end of May, end of April, early May. And the second time was recently when I was diagnosed with bladder obstruction outflow, right? Outflow obstruction. You actually came to see me on a Sunday morning, and that's really fully energetic, right? Fully energetic after operating till I think 12 at midnight. So, the first question that begs to be asked is, how do you get so much energy? Where do you get so much energy from?
Wonderful. So, just to kickstart, I must also answer that it's rare that I get to treat individuals in the family only because one happens to be an ambassador to a good work, which actually sells in terms of bringing it positive. So, if I operated her on stones, I did talk
Yeah,
about positives of a negative issue which became an emergency to her. And
correct,
she got sorted and she is sorted in life and doing well. And I know that she's working hard on prevention. Sadly, something happens to you on a Saturday evening when I finish close to midnight, the long week. And you come beyond midnight when I leave the hospital. And sadly, you have got what happens to people in the late 40s and early 50s is a progressive change in the prostate where an obstruction can happen and we cannot
correct.
see it happening. It just doesn't come to us. As males or as men, we are different compared to women, and we can talk on this too. Is that it came as a shock to you where you could not pass urine? And this is a great kind of a leveler where all men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s need to know that progression is vital and progression is going to be continuous. We all will change. None of us are statues like Mahatma Gandhi on the pedestal where it shines with sunshine and shines with rain. Our bodies only shine when we polish it and we forget it. We think
Correct.
the best computer ever made by God was human body, which evolved from a small zygote or from an egg to a point in time where you matured mind and body. You look as smart and sweet as you are in the screen only because things evolve to a point in time from where you look awesome. Body undergoes a change after a good crescendo. There's a decrescendo curve, and that sometimes happens to people in 40s, 50s, and 60s. So the energy that I drive in is about the passion for a purpose for which I became possibly a doctor and a urologist. I think that is completely non-negotiable. That's internal. So
Correct.
motivation cannot be always driven from the superstars that you see and your own stars. We all had only one star in our lifetime, which was our father. So we always learn from our parents, from our father who was your hero, and from there you look at the commitment, the honesty, and if you can take little bit of it, you imbibe it into your lifetime and probably reach levels that you care in. So I think I'm just trying to live a role which I probably was supposed to live at this era. So lucky to be born in the era where a webcast or a podcast as good as this being created for positivity and for posterity for everybody.
Amazing. I just want to inform everyone that who's watching that Dr. Sanjay Pandey is really a YouTube veteran. I'm learning from him. He's got various videos up on YouTube, exploring and explaining various topics, especially to do with urology and various ailments that one should be aware of. He's done two TED Talks that I know of, probably more. And he is so available to just spread information. I think that's what I love most about him. In the short 60-second, 2-minute window that we get with him, I actually was pitching my podcast rather than talking about, because I just found you so interesting. I mean, you're so well spoken. So I just wanted to ask you, how did you decide to become a doctor? What was that one thing, that light bulb moment that went off and you decided to join the medical profession?
Great. So this is very candid, and therefore, because it's a candid talk, I've been here on this pedestal by default. My father is an engineer, a respected engineer of that era, and I wanted to be emulate him and become an engineer. I
Okay.
did appear in the IITs in that era in late, what do you say, 1980s kind of thing around. And I probably could not click in those era, but because I was from the ICSE board and I was good enough on my biological stream too, I did not want to lose an year in that era. I know my kids and kids today take a break and they actually polish themselves and go to the next level. That era was all about judgment, where you want everything to be happening around. I was born in
Got
a I was born in a town called Rourkela in Orissa, and I give a lots to the foundations in that city in St. Paul's School where I did pass from. Rock solid foundation, teachers, inspiring kind of teachers who actually took you to task and polish you to a level where you could actually glow anywhere in the world. So we had to look into our own streams around that. I was possibly good in biology as much as in mathematics, and I did not click in mathematics on the first year. I didn't want to lose the time. I did appear in the medicals, in the Orissa medicals. I did click, got a good rank, good enough to be getting into Cuttack, the SCV Medical College at that time, the seventh best medical college in the country, an epitome of quite a senior teachers and people who have passed out from there have been world leaders around. So it was good to do my MBBS and MS in surgery from that medical institute, complete in 1994, come to Delhi, be in the AIMS for a short while, get back again to Orissa because in the national board we could still click and get general surgery. And thereafter, it was back in Delhi where I did look into a subject which I could do best. It was just again by the way of attempting to do a super specialization that I did not choose urology, but I did work hard on aspects of care. And there were again role models all the time who were super inspirers in terms of great work, long hours of work, good quality work in the era approximately 30 years ago. And I think you always go by somebody doing good, you want to emulate them, go closer to them. That probably I looked into this subject. So my 25th year in urology right now that I'm seeing in 2025, inspired to be continuing doing good, better, and best. In those long hours, I stretch myself only because you got to spend time. It cannot be
Yeah.
an 8 to 5 job where you come in quickly and walk out quickly because though I do that kind of a gracious speed that I create in the era that I live in, still with physique that I have, but it's not easy to be able to handle today's medical field and fraternity and the kind of requirements you need to put across the table where I consult over the last 17 years since I've been in the Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital. After I left 8.5, 9 years of my work at Sri Ramachandra Medical College in Chennai, where I was a faculty and associate professor. I did my urology degrees from CMC Vellore, where I was a resident in urology, and obviously the best of teachers out there who trained us. And then I went to JIPMA Pondicherry, where I did my degree in MCH urology and then my diploma in national board. So, overall, if I put in a nutshell, just to become a doctor and then to move forward up the ladder algorithmically to be able to climb those steps and reach where we are today is a journey that must be ingrained with a lot of sacrifice. Sacrifice by parents, sacrifice by my wife, who's a dermatologist, Dr. Rashmi, sacrifice by kids who have actually grown up, have done maturity to a level where they are world beaters on subjects that they do, and they did come out from Flame University, the elder one. It
Oh,
feels
nice.
very good because it's a lot of sacrifice by teachers, parents, by the team which actually works along with me, and obviously by all those people who have let me move further because of the mottos and goals that you actually carry. So good enough that we are where we are.
You're extremely gracious, humble, kind. You like to give credit to other people, your family, your teachers. It's really inspiring. I just want to say that. One of your signature lines is you work 10 days a week, and it's still not enough. So I remember that line very clearly. Are you negotiating more days with the Almighty, and where is that at?
That's nice. That's a great way to frame the whole thing, Sheldon. That's nice. I'm impressed with the way you make a spontaneous thing happen around. So, routine urology is a bomb. It's A to Z. It's quite a big subject. I wish over those 350 videos that I put on my own YouTube channel in my name was heard by a few more people who could pick up things early. Because in medicine, the first thing is prevention is better than cure.
Correct.
And sadly, we still are lost on that subject. Health does not become a priority in our country in this era when there's so much else happening in terms of a flash. I would not say the health probably is completely relegated, but it's still at the back row seat. You can sit at the balcony and see a movie in a good cinema scopic frame, but you cannot sit in the balcony and look at your health. You got to bring it to the front row seat. You got to make this a priority. That's all that you need to know. So to me, important aspect of looking into aspects of care, aspects of taking it forward to the next level It's about motivating myself to be able to motivate my whole day and take it to the next level. Now I start very early. I start very early for all practical standards at 8, 8:15. Not many specialists, super specialists could be actually getting to work, knowing that their work is going to be 12 to 15 hours every day of the week time and the space available. We is stronger than I. I alone cannot do it. I'm more than sure. But what role I play, a pivotal role around which things revolve around in terms of being able to imbibe, get a patient, invite him into the room, talk to him 2, 5, 10 questions, listen to him longer than he can actually has a chance to speak to my colleague doctors because he wants to be heard. And sadly, in today's world, paper prescriptions and surgeries happen faster than what we hear around. So, giving a patient hearing to an individual is what makes the empathy much stronger. You have an empathy, you don't have a sympathy with the patient. Tomorrow, my body may change and your body may change, and we may go through a trauma of the kind that you went on a Saturday night till you saw me Sunday morning. It's about the body changes around. And when somebody sits in front, he is a needy. And needy is just not those 5 letter word. Needy is somebody who really deserves the kind of empathy, the kind of care towards an attempt to cure because we can't cure, we can treat. It's upstairs, he actually cures around. We make it that important aspect. So, me, the number of days a week and probably looking at what time it is has not been. Though I wear a watch and sometimes don't look at it, but I wear it for sake of wearing on the left hand. It is important for me to look into that. I leave the cricket field when the last ball is bowled. So that means I would not look at, okay, my job is done, my day is done, unless there are issues of my intense travel load that I have brought upon myself to be able to spread the good news and information to the fraternity and to elsewhere. I make it a point that we work long hours, that I imbibe a lot of niche area subjects apart from the hardcore urology. I need to spend some time on this. I just cannot say that I do good work in a subject called nocturia or getting a multiple times at night, which is so common that nobody looks into it. Our parents get up 2, 5, 10 times at night and they are bothered about it while we snore whole night. Their sleep
Correct.
is milder and their urine production is more at night. And nobody looks into the world called nocturia, getting a multiple times at night. A subject which is just relegated away because it may not have connotations of money making, it may not have connotations of a kind of branding, but the subject is huge because you and I will go through that age when we will be having a very mild sleep, we'll toss in the bed whole night and we are
True.
actually getting a multiple times in it. Nobody looks into bedwetting or enuresis for a 6 to 15-year-old child when we should cure it. We should not let a child go to adolescence and adulthood where he or she is scared of going to a hostel or getting married because she or he is still bedwetting in that mature age group. So there
True.
are things which we think will happen. The so-called chalta hai kind of attitude is not acceptable. To me
True.
personally, I have a motto that you do your best and God will do the rest, but you have to do your best. And that
Yes.
cannot happen if you build up subjects. I do a subject which is quite a niche area. We can talk on that. That's close to a passion to my lifestyle. And
Sure.
that's something which requires more time. To me, to
Sure.
be able to give keynote lectures and orations on subjects I work on, is probably thinking out of the box and probably coming out of my shadows at this age to be able to be invited on the world platform to be able to speak around. So this does not come easy. It comes with those number of days. So you're only 7 days of which all of us love celebrating and obviously taking a break, and I too take long breaks if required. But obviously, these niche areas go beyond the seventh day of the week. They go into my 8th, 9th, 10th day of the week when the world is closed, and I look into getting these subjects more polished, and I polish it for myself because I, I would say I compete only with myself. There are no competitions around. I look at can I get a better human being, a better surgeon. Though, as I said, things will change as times go by. We will have all those changes happening in us also. But to polish the subjects, you will have to really get into the evidence of it,
Hmm.
looking at matching the expectations of individuals who come to you, looking at the evolution of the subjects across the world and how you evolve into the subject, bringing about an expertise and having that amount of endurance. So to me, the 8th, 9th, 10th day of the week may look very holistically ephemeral, but these are all things which happen to me because I carry very long hours into the night.
Very nicely put. Very nicely put, which helps me segue into my next question. How does your family manage cope with you? What's the is there a work life balance, or is that just a myth according to you? What do you feel?
If I don't speak names, I would still tell you that the prime minister of the country works very, very hard. You've never seen him work around. I'm just
Mm.
talking about people who inspire you. I mean, a man alone inspires the entire country and a generation at this point in time across the world. So I think we are too small minuscules to be able to say that we are working into the midnight wick of the lamp burning around, because unless you do that amount, unless there are so many people around you to help you out, and you're working alone at times to be able to rise out of this situation, uh, you cannot do it alone. You will have requirements, and at this hour, I know you and I know what hour we are seated at this point in time in my office.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that I got a brief introduction to what your life is like when you pinged me about half an hour, 45 minutes back saying, let's do it, tonight. And I was like, I've been up since 5 in the morning, and it's about 9:30 right now, and you are bright and charming, and I can imagine when you get these late night calls to rush to the emergency room to look at a patient. I'm getting tired just thinking of it, but obviously that's your day-to-day reality. So,
So
kudos
when
to
I, when I, Sheldon, when I actually look into the sacrifices which must have gone by the family of me missing out many of these important ceremonies at times, not able to travel to some ceremonies which I should be a part of, though I make it a point that I get a balance on that. I think I should sincerely thank my parents whom I miss out, sometimes calling on possible timings or dates and call later. Rashmi, my wife, a dermatologist, actually almost gave up her work, mellowed down herself to work for the larger household, of which I became a part of rather than running the show around 16, 17 years ago when he came to Mumbai, because she qualified to those levels around which I cannot imagine myself in that era. But she slowed down. She get into a completely different stream as a dermatologist, as a wildlife photographer, as a fitness freak kind of thing around, taking care of the two daughters and building them up to a level where they're so independent and so good. So I looked at that, probably if I had done all that, I may not have been so successful around. So you do your best and God will do the rest. So I did what could be best. I look at, respects from the kind of gratitude I have for people surrounding me, the inner core, the family, parents, friends, colleagues at our department, and the nurses and the technicians and people who work in. The kind of liberty we have at the place where I work in around is that allowed to work for those long hours, able to take up those complex surgeries, allowed to operate even on Sundays on some way basic emergencies and massive issues around, allowed to travel on to not showcase but to spread awareness on aspects of care that we take forward in this 16-story building. I think it looks great to be working in institute. So thanks to everybody around who surrounds you, which includes
you.
parents, family, wife, children, the team, the hospital management, and obviously, most important, we all belong to the community where the person in front matters, the patient. The patient and their families wait quite solid. I know we must have agonized a lot of people waiting long hours for me as I work long hours. I operate long hours when people wait here. And sometimes people may have written something very ghastly and wrong about on the Google reviews saying that Dr. Pandey, you made us wait. We cancel your appointment and nobody should come to him ever again. Like some gentleman wrote who waited for a few hours. But I know at the end of it, till you have not touched somebody, you have not done wrong. When you touch somebody, you're committed to probably do good. So nobody should leave my room without a counseling. Nobody should leave my room without a knowledge, and should not leave a room if he is unsafe. At least he should be told. So those are all prices of Hippocratic oath that you took forward as a challenge, then you must live it every day.
Very nicely put. Very nicely put. And definitely brings perspective. And I can vouch for the fact, because I am a patient of yours, and I've seen you give your all to every patient that comes into your dispensary, to your clinic, right? And I can also vouch for the fact that your staff love you. In terms of they understand that you love your job, your profession, that you're very passionate about what you do. And I know this firsthand because I often ask the question, where does doctor get so much energy from, right? To be on his feet non-stop, looking at patients from early morning to late at night. And the simple answer is he just loves what he does. So, kudos to you. Doctor, we're gonna, winding down to the end of this little chat. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to young doctors who are still in medical college, or even aspiring doctors who might be thinking of joining the medical profession?
So medical profession is and will always be a noble profession. It's like teachers who actually build the future citizens. Uh, as I said, this body is an ever-changing computer that God made. And then he brought in doctors and nurses and medical fraternity to help these bodies to get polished, because we polish our shoes and they shine and we feel proud about it. Similarly, as medical fraternity, as medical teams at this glory hospital where I live and work in around long hours, I know we polish this part of the world with safer health, better health, give them the quality of life that they deserve on two diseases altogether. One is those life-threatening diseases, other is the quality of life diseases, which I deal with regularly. When I look forward to individuals who aspire to be doctors and then aspirants beyond that, because today medical field is just not the MBBS. It's beyond that, to specialize, super specialize, cater to the requirements of the day and your achievements, and probably your aspirations to take those niche areas, which is obviously a space age in terms of never-ending time. Be committed, because you will have long years and decades of training and teaching. Your colleagues in various other specialties may be by the time earning and probably having a family and be able to live a dream. It is important for you, if you're committed on this subject, you will need to spend some time. You need to spend long years to be able to specialize and to be able to be confident enough. Confidence is not about speaking from a stage. Confidence is about able to execute the work given to you, expected of you, which is coming your way at odd hours, including unearthly hours. So it's important for aspiring doctors, aspiring specialists, aspiring super specialists to take this journey to the next level completely. That means they should be capable enough to be able to handle something in front. There's a lady who actually came in from Agartala. Her daughter is born with MRKH syndrome. We can talk on this for a while because this is awareness for
Yes,
public.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
she, at the girl at the age of 12, 14, and 16 years was not having menstrual periods. They went to a gynecologist and they did some sonographies and were found to having a missing uterus and missing vagina. And she obviously has ovaries. So her secondary sexual characters look very good. She's grown up into a young girl, a beautiful young girl who's growing. Parents take consults from doctors, colleagues in that part of the world or any part of the world, and she is born with a disability which is not visibly external. Externally, she looks as beautiful as the most beautiful woman on earth, but internally, she is unfortunately incomplete woman. Why I tell you this is because uh, we need to play roles of kind which actually matters to the individual in front who's needy and whose needs have to be fulfilled in the gamut or the very perimeter of health, science, and ethics, that I've gone into very many niche area subjects only by, you know, by training, teaching, by learning. I've been being very selfish in learning because learning is a daily journey. Learning cannot be stopping at a one point in time. Our teachers still say that we are learning every day. I go to probably teach and train, but I learn myself and come back. So this lady probably landed up from the YouTube channel you talked about when she read about MRKH syndrome, and the girl had turned 24. So from 15, 17 years, hunting for something to happen for the girl to be as good as the sibling daughters that she had, who had regular menstrual periods. The elder one had got married, the younger one was good enough. And this interspersed girl, who actually was as beautiful as anybody else, was actually missing out life because she could not be a complete woman. So by default, they landed up here at the Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital. That I do this subject called MRKH syndrome out of the reconstructive urology and pelvic health that I do, from the open surgery to the robotic surgery. We gave her a robotic sigmoid vaginoplasty, which other words, we gave her an organ which probably, sadly, by default, she had missed out at birth. We did not give her a uterus, but we gave her a vagina. She is now a complete woman. She has got married to the partner. She will have a child by a surrogate pregnancy. And a mother thanked me enough and sent a small piece of letter saying that we pray every day. I have never seen God, but out on earth, probably by default, I saw somebody who could change a life. So, in other words, um, saving somebody in a trauma or saving a child who has got a torsion testis at 1 o'clock at night, where the testis turn around. And if you don't derotate it in time, almost always by a surgical exploration at unearthly hours in time, the testis loses a blood supply and then is all going to be removed and put in a dustbin. The
Mm.
testis is gone. And this does happen not at your and my age, but in the growing years when the testis is growing and going to hang. And at the time, as the testis becomes more heavier, any kind of a strenuous activity in the cremasteric muscles in some patients where the bilateral or both sides testis may still not be fixed to the bottom of the scrotum very well can rotate, and one rotation by a sudden onset muscular activity, be straining at stool, straining at football, turns and twists and give you a sudden onset pain in testis called torsion testis, could actually change the life of the parents who went to a general practitioner and probably took antibiotics thinking it's an infection, and wake
Mm.
up a day or two later when they come too late and the testis has to be removed. Compared to somebody who has got a pain 1 hour ago and rushes to the emergency department at 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. to the Kokilaben hospital. The emergency team is geared and knows what to do. They rush him through the ultrasound department, showing that the blood supply is weaning off and getting lost, and to the operating room where we explore the scrotum, derotate the testis, fix it up. His life saves around. And this boy requires the testis to grow as a male in future. Is such an important aspect. So frankly speaking, if I look into the awareness part, I look at doctors of tomorrow to be stronger than the doctors of today. That means whatever I do, I'm sure my juniors would emulate and probably make it bigger. You know, all the records are made to be broken. Be it Brian Lara, be it Gary Sobers, be it Dhoni, be it Tendulkar, the records need to be broken. That means in an era today with technology, era today with time, era today with commitment and passion, there are many more Sanjay Pandays who will probably beat the entire aspect of continued long hours, long days, and long destinations of being able to bring about subjects of care and cure with a lot of passion and purpose. It has to be taken forward in that way. I always do this more to doctors whom I see for training, who come in specializations, who I meet across the meetings on the sidelines, and just take them off and talk to them for a few minutes and say, I think you look awesome. The kind of talk you gave out there was full of confidence. The kind of slides you presented gave me so much of respite that if I need to search my surgeon tomorrow, you are the one whom I would run back to get operated for. In other words, tomorrow's doctors have to be more geared for a population who's waiting across on the sidelines. Sadly, today the Google doctor has actually made life a little difficult. Also for the
Mm.
patients who actually jump into knowledge without knowing what is what. And we always said that common punctuation of little learning is dangerous thing. Today everybody has little learning and a huge dangerous thing in their head where they have got 10 questions for you without understanding what they ask. Everybody does a urine test, Sheldon, without knowing how to give a proper urine sample. A proper urine sample is always a midstream and a clean cat specimen. Not necessarily 6 o'clock in the morning, but has to be midstream and a clean cat specimen. We won't test urine for everybody kind of thing around. People have stones in the kidney and they wait till it creates a complication when you know the disease has to be treated in time. So today with the gadgetry that we have, today with the kind of commitment that will come in around, I think this combination will make doctors better. They will be far-fetched, better doctors. I only pray great commitment. I pray that they take this empathy of taking it to the society much better. Awareness is the key, and awareness brings treatment much earlier. For example, if a gentleman has got prostate cancer and we pick him up and we operate him by a radical robotic prostatectomy tomorrow, like we're doing tomorrow at 8 a.m., one patient, his younger brother and his son are on the radar for a possible genetic change in a cancer prostate. We cannot prevent it, but we can pick them up in time. And therefore, the awareness which we have to put forward in a quality of life issue for individuals and on life threatening situation like the torsion testis and the cancers and the traumas and injuries we see on a regular basis, I think all these have to be collated together. So I think it has to be a great basket. The basket should be sounding good, should be smelling good, and should be capable enough to be able to take the journey of being called worthy doctor of tomorrow. So I think all doctors need to look into it. They should probably polish themselves. They should work harder round the clock. They should look at that. They should emulate their seniors, whoever they are, their teachers, and would obviously look at not reaching beyond, but obviously polishing themselves with evidence available today. workshops, teaching, learning, be committed. And the best teacher is a patient. Patient is the best teacher. You got to talk to the patient, understand the agony, understand the anguish, look at the family going through. I deal with subjects called as interstitial cystitis bladder pain syndrome, a disease completely of agony, anguish, dilemmas, desperation. That I also serve as academic secretary to a global organization. I look at it that we emanate positives of a disease. There's nothing positive about a disease. Disease is all about sad, sad, sad. But can you bring in
Right.
positives about it? Will be great. So promoting positive health from a kind of from a platform that we work in could be those words of wisdom for everybody. The words of wisdom for perhaps the society should be that not me, but many people speak positive. Looking at a YouTube channel, you may not be able to really learn something or do something, but you get to be aware of so many things. Sadly, our country is a country of a lot of myths, but a lot of facts too. The myths are all about that. A stone is a myth that people think tomato seeds and brinjal seeds and guava seeds could calm stones. And this is the regular question asked now. I tell them go to the YouTube and listen to what I speak on this, and you know all about it. So
True.
aging is should be graceful. Aging is going to happen. We all have an expiry date. It is important for us to respect that we were born in the era where there is a great medical science, great society, great camaraderie. I think we need to take all this forward in a single broom. We broom it thoroughly well, positive, polished, and we can actually rise to the occasion for the needs that have. Obviously, physically we may get tired. Mentally also we may get tired, and there's a way to rejuvenate it, which is what we should learn around. So I think it's all about internal. I think we need to bring it out internally. We need to take it forward. I don't mind working longer hours than this, provided I can do some more good to somebody. Because at the end of it, we all have expiry date, and by the time it all is over, by the time we give up our medical work and curriculum around, we should be worthy enough to be remembered by one, two, three, four, five, if not by the whole world. So at least what you do good. What you do honestly. What you do should be committed and deep. It should be very deep immersion. It just cannot be superficial. And obviously, we all have flaws. I may have missed out so many things. I just speak spontaneous to the reality that we go through around. And I've got some patients who are happy. Some are very unhappy. Some go home cured. Some go home treated. Some go home in a journey. But I look at that. At the end of it, we pray for everybody. We pray that they do well, they know about it, they play safe, and they get treated by colleagues across. And therefore, when I speak, I make it a point that I say that please see doctors in your city. For example, Sheldon, I can do nothing about cardiology, neurology, comes to urology, I'm keen to do good. In other words, when you have a urinary complaint, when you have a sexual complaint, when you have got complaints related to the kidney, ureter, bladder, prostate, genital issues, why not see the right doctor? Many times it's missed out. People continue to take medicines for days, years, and decades till one fine day an emergency shines and takes away the light of them completely. All that they never wanted comes in a flash. So that's something which is important for us to wake up. Wake up call has to be very dramatic. It's probably a shake up from the reverie that we live in around. This only can happen better and better as we actually understand ourselves. So I think to me, one single sentence, the biggest journey is a journey within. I mean, we have taken long journeys. I've flown in 50.5 hours to JFK recently. But still, the biggest journey is a journey within. That means what you do and what you continue to practice and what you preach will be best told to you when you go and put your head on the pillows. And if you're tossing in the bed that night, that means you've done nothing good. If you go and hit your pillow and you are dead, you are sleeping for those 5, 6 hours, and you get up in the morning, either woken up because you sleep late and get up late, or you wake up with a more freshness because you did well. You solve some of the puzzles in the dream. I think things actually work in your favor.
Very, very nicely put. Thank you so much. This is not the end. This is the closure of part one with Dr. Sanjay Pandey. We will be back with part two whenever you get some time in between your consultations and your operations. I'm just a phone call away. Happy to get on a chat like this to spread awareness, right? That is the objective. Thank you so much, doctor. I know you have to rush back to the OT. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we will publish this little YouTube recording that we've done to as many people as possible, and hopefully people will be aware of how they can better equip themselves and to understand that doctors are their friends, not their enemies. So thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time out, and God bless you.
So wishing you first good health, wishing everybody good health, wishing everybody understands that they need to polish themselves and get better, wishing that they go to the right fraternity in time and get it treated, be it any hour, not necessarily. The lightning strikes at odd hours sometimes and emergencies can come. The body is made such that it goes with a wavering up and down phenomena like a cloud. We should look at our health as a simple priority. Not that we are going to talk about the negatives of it, but health can be polished and only got better. Prevention is better than cure. I sit at the Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital, extremely proud, with head on shoulders and feet on ground, with the kind of work as a team, as a hospital, as an institute, we do not only for this part of the city, country, or the globe, and we look at spreading this positive to everybody and anybody who deserves health, positive health from this sector and from all sectors around. So great meeting you. I had to do this today because you and I did connect. I could not have done before and before and before. And to me, postponement is a rule. I don't think things which matter to me personally gets postponed. Things which matter to people in front takes a priority. And that's how probably I lived a lot of my life. And we like to look into that. This balance or the balance of life that you talked about should come to all of us, including me, in due course of time.
Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good night.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
When the clock strikes midnight, the pain takes its toll. You're clutching your belly, losing all control. But there's a hero out there to save the day. Pick up the phone and call Dr. Sanjay. Oh, Dr. Sanjay Pandey, he's the man. He'll fix you up faster than anyone can. From stones to blocks to midnight despair, dial him up, he's always there. You might never meet him when the sun is high, but when things go wrong, he's your go-to guy. From kidney chaos to a tummy gone rogue, he's the doctor with the antidote code. Oh, Dr. Sanjay Pandey, he's the man. He'll fix you up faster than anyone can. From stones to blocks to midnight despair, dial him up, he's always there. When your world feels like it's tumbling down, he's got the remedy to turn it around. With steady hands and a knowing grin, he'll chase the pain out and let the healing begin. Oh, Dr. Sanjay Pandey, he's the man. He'll fix you up faster than anyone can. From stones to blocks to midnight despair, dial him up, he's always there.
You are listening to Conversations with Wisdom, a Random Genius Media original.